Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation, including Craig of the Creek, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Alex Bonilla.
Hey.
Yes, more Craig this month to talk about the August episodes of Craig of the Creek, Cousin of the Creek, Camper on the Run, Stink Bomb, and The Evolution of Craig. Those are the four, less than normal, that we'll be getting into on this podcast. These have been airing on TV this week. They were up on the app a while ago. Now we're finally getting to them. And I think the last one is going to be airing this weekend. So we'll see when we get more after that. But we have some exciting ones to talk about here. Find our previous Craig podcasts at overlyanimated.com. Or youtube.com/overlyanimated, or search for us on your podcast app. So, generally, Michelle, what do you think of these four Craig episodes?
Generally, I was very happy with these four episodes. I was honestly really astounded by just how good Cousin of the Creek and The Evolution of Craig were in particular. If there was one that wasn't I didn't care as much about, it was probably a stink bomb. I don't think that's going to be an unpopular opinion among all of us, but that's not a bad episode by any shape of stuff. So, I was so surprised by how funny Evolution of Craig was particularly. And I'm not the biggest Pokemon person.
Yeah, it's like you're not a Pokemon person.
But it works so well, and you don't have to know Pokemon that well to get all these general references about evolutions and playing the games and stuff, and the Who's That Pokemon thing.
Yes.
I didn't think it could get better from My Candy Child, but then it did. He was the most obscure kid. You're you remember him, right? Oh my god, this show's so funny. I feel I don't know. This is only the second season, but it's just so good all the time, and I never get tired of saying that because it's such a beautiful beacon in the darkness of some other shows right now. And I love it a lot. It's such a good show.
What shows? Other shows? Are you sure your Fruits Basket? Is that what you're talking
about? No, Fruits Basket's unique. Well, not uniquely bad, but I'd say even Final Space is so frustrating sometimes. Craig's not frustrating. Craig's just really good all the time, and all people who work on it are just wonderful, amazing, and I'm so proud of them because what a great show to work on. They're all geniuses. Clearly,
okay, we like everyone who makes all the shows, though. We
need to, but it's just so nice to have a show that you could just be happy about and not have to be oh no, that one thing though, you know?
Yeah, I really feel that. That's true. Yeah, okay, that is well, we can get into that too. Alex, what do you think of these four episodes?
Well, kind of bouncing off of what Michelle said, I think that we're jumping back into these episodes after watching so many shows that are getting deeper into plot and deep character drama. So even OKKO, a show that usually is a lot of fun and stuff. Now it's getting into deep dark territory. So it's which is good, but at the same time, when you switch off to a show like Craig of the Creek, which is just wholesome all the time, there's not really any high stakes. It's definitely a change of pace, and I think that there is room for these kind of shows, and I had an okay time with these episodes. I will say that I'm kind of switching in that I didn't really care for The Evolution of Craig, and I really enjoyed Stink Bomb. So I think that
oh my god!
We'll get into
Alex.
My
also not a
Pokemon
person.
Yeah, I'm not a Pokemon person, and it felt way too heavy on the references. It kind of the joke was mainly derived from that. It's okay, I get it, I get what you're doing, and it didn't really hit me as much. But Stink Bomb I enjoyed because the fact that we built up so many characters over the course of the show, and Stink Bomb felt like it brought back a bunch of people we hadn't really thought about in a while. You had Cannonball and Eliza and the science people. So it felt oh, okay, finally we're getting these people back in. And then I think that they integrated them pretty well. They gave them all their little jokes. So Stink Bomb I enjoyed. Cousin of the Creek I especially enjoy because, again, something that's been repeated throughout Craig of the Creek podcast is how well they portray family dynamics. And I think Cousin of the Creek was especially good. And Camper on the Run is, it has its moments too. So yeah, all in all, this is a fine batch of episodes, and I think it just kind of emphasizes, we're back to the the smooth sailing of of Craig of the Creek, not really rocking the boat too much, but that's fine, just kind of relax on the lazy river.
Yeah, Craig of the Creek, honestly, I think is like a better version of real life. I think that's the well, it is though. Like your family's way more fun. Everyone's really funny and interesting, and you get to do all this cool kid stuff. I mean, that's like the dream, right?
We had the dream if we were just kids and we never grew up.
We were just 6 to 11
playing in the creek. 6 is what 11 or something.
I something like that. Yeah,
that's an OKKO reference.
But also, I feel like it's the cartoon demographic. I mean, I feel like it is
6 to 11. Yeah, we also got some videos game in this batch too.
We did get some video games.
These episodes are really good. This is a really strong 4 episodes. I think every one of these episodes is good. I'm Team Michelle on this. I basically agree with everything she said. I think Stink Bomb is the one that doesn't really stand out as much. But I still think it's a good episode, and I agree with what Alex said about bringing all the characters back. I think that was successful. Cousin the Creek is really excellent and almost one of the best episodes of the show, if not sullied by Paintball Mike, but that's okay. And then
I was not a fan of seeing him again. He was the lowest part of the episode. Other
than that, everything was so good. Camper on the Run. This is like one of the most well executed episodes of Craig. It's like Craig does this like adult drama like Game of Thrones episode. It's nuts. I love it. I want to talk about that. And
Roxy's so cool too.
Roxy's so cool. And then by the way, Science Kids and Stink Bomb, I was so happy to see them again. They were really good. And then the evolution of Craig. Oh my goodness, one of my favorite episodes ever.
Pokemon experts enjoy this.
Huge Pokemon stan. I will represent this. I love every second of this. I honestly think it might be a masterpiece. Like
it is a masterpiece. That's what I'm saying. Like
it's so like well executed, start to finish.
The crew is so good. Like I don't
really
know what magic got all of them to be working on this show at the same time, but like behold the fruits of their labor. This is such a good episode.
Behold the fruits of their labor.
I didn't like care that much about Pokemon. It was just like all the jokes are so funny, and it's like weirdly nostalgic, even if you have like the slightest like permeance of Pokemon as a thing.
Yeah, I feel like I can't speak for all Pokemon fans. The episode works so well if you're into it. It's. So I think like where I'm with Craig, and Michelle's like really praising the show. I'm there too. I'm like really, really high on Craig right now. I mean, I'm always have been, but I think like it took me a while to accept that Craig is where it is now. I think for a while in these podcasts, I'm like, okay, another batch, no standout episode. We haven't gotten to the heights of the Doorway to Helen or the Kid from 3030. But like, I think it makes sense that Craig isn't having these super standout episodes. Like Craig is just a very consistent high floor show. Like I think looking back on like the last 20 episodes, like there hasn't even been an episode that's just good. Like every episode's been at least very good. Like Craig is that's why Craig is really special, is because it's so consistently very good to great. It really doesn't have down episodes anymore. Like I really feel like it used to have like occasional episode that I'm like, okay, that was okay. Now every single episode stands out in some way at least. And that's we really don't have another show like that. I think. I think Craig's one of the best shows of the year. I think it's going to be. I don't think it'll be in the running in our end of year awards just because not enough people. But like, for me, it will be. And these episodes, and last batch was really great too. And I think these ones are really, really good. I feel like the one that's been talked about the most, I would want to talk about Pokemon first, obviously, but I feel like Cousin of the Creek is the one that has been most discussed online and stuff, so I think we should get into that one. We could probably go in order of airing here. I think like what stands out about Cousin of the Creek from what I've seen from a lot of people's reactions is, like Alex said, kind of the family dynamics being portrayed. And in this case, kind of the extended family, specifically just like showing a black family and like showing all these different types of people you'd see in this type of family, I think is a lot of people have reacted extremely positively to that. We meet Uncle Darnell, Bryson, Aunt Kimmy, and Jasmine. I feel like a lot like great new characters here. And we see the Craig's family interacting with them. And, like I said, except for Paintball Mike, like everything's gold here in this episode. So I was very happy. Michelle, do you have a standout family member or moment from Cousin of the Creek?
Oh my God. I didn't expect to love this so much, but like the fact that Dwayne was like losing his mind over Jessica maybe liking Uncle Darnell more, and like to the point where he's like crying in her room, and he brings like a bag, like luggage at that, like, okay, I want what's best for my daughter. You take her, and Uncle Darnell's like, I was just kidding. I don't want any more children. Like the whole payoff is just so funny. It's like, aw, because like. I also don't think we've seen a ton of Dwayne hanging out with Jessica. So, like, I love that they focused on their relationship for this episode. Because, like, we've had Craig with both his parents, but I feel like Jessica could use a little more love. So, it was nice to see them have a moment.
Yeah, I think that's been a lot of people's favorite part of the episode, too. Dwayne was so fantastic here.
When the wife's like, can you just let this go? And he's like, no.
No, yeah.
Like, oh my God,
and then mom is just done. It's like, well, I'm out.
Yeah, she's like, I tried, man.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Alex, what stands out to you from the episode?
I enjoyed the relationship between Craig and Bryson because that felt very, very relatable in terms of like you have a cousin that you know their family, but you really have no idea how to relate to them. Like it's like you barely talked, and you like kind of admire that you come, or like you know that you come from like different places, and like you're trying to relate, and it's awkward. It's like, oh, the train, that's cool. No, it's not. Oh yeah, that's not. So it's like you get the awkward talk, and so it feels good when they eventually like find common ground into the water balloon fight, and Bryson kind of eases up a little bit. It also feels kind of natural that like Bryson at first is kind of guarded, quiet because again it's been a while, but he like slowly loosens up over the course of the episode, and I think that's portrayed very well, and it hammers home what the general experience of dealing with extended family is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think the Bryson and Craig dynamic, I feel like that felt really real and hit home about like, oh, this person, they're cooler than me, and then it's like they're not who they used to be, and then there's like, oh, at the end Bryson's like, oh, I was nervous too this whole time. I thought that was all really great, and just Craig just being so sensitive of Bryson being like cooler than him. I got a lot of flashbacks to being a kid, especially I feel like this is random, but like he wears boxers, so cool. I was like, oh no, I remember it's like triggered memory of like being conscious of wearing tighty whities as a kid, and it's like, oh no, I need to switch to boxers. The kids are gonna make fun of me and like changing for this show all hits on stuff like that a lot. But that was like a very specific thing.
Also like Craig looking at his shoes is like, oh, those are so cool sneakers.
But he like mistakes Craig's shoes for socks. That was such an unintentional burn.
I'll say character design gag. I feel like with but yeah, I thought all the Bryce and Craig stuff is really great. There's a Jasmine has a girlfriend.
She does. Oh, good for her.
More like kind of incidental queer characters on the show. That's good. I'd like to see more from Jasmine and Bernard or have that one scene. I could see more from them too. I think it's not, this episode's not about Kelsey, but Kelsey also kind of is a really standout part of the episode too. The train gag is really good, and then it's not that big a deal. You just got to tell the guy at the mall you're 7 or under. Like Kelsey's great.
I love that they've never experienced a real train. Like that's their idea of a train. It's just a little toy at the mall.
It's a lot of Amtrak in the DC area. Like what they could take. But the mall train, I didn't have that growing up. But now the mall by me there's just a train, so I know exactly what they're talking about. So
I feel like their big malls have trains. Yeah. Like small malls don't. But like if you're a big mall, then you have a train.
They have a train budget. That's why the big malls do.
You're trying to walk around, and then this like stupid train is like, get out of the way. It's like, kids, stop having fun. I'm trying to walk around the mall. Okay.
Well, the mall in Guatemala that had a train, they'd like use the part of the mall that nobody really went to for the trains. Like that like there's like a corner where it has just like a bunch of stores that like I guess nobody ever went to, and so like that was where they would like make the train go around. So smart decision on their part, because there are other malls that might have them like that's the food court, and that's just terrible.
Yeah, no, the train at the mall by me isn't like not in a remote place. It's annoying. This episode also has a lot about crabs, which is a very good Maryland representation in this episode. This is Maryland does not have much unique culture, but I think crabs would be one of the
crabs and cicadas and honeysuckle.
I feel like honeysuckle cicada is more universal. Crab's supposed to be like a Maryland thing. Old Bay on crabs. That's like Maryland. Yeah.
The moment where the uncle under his breath is like, "Hey, I'll give you money if you want a better shirt." Like that is
it's
so
a crab
real.
shirt. We're eating crabs.
Real,
I'm like, man, wait, I'd be the same kind of dad, honestly. Like, just like very straightforward.
Yeah, that I agree that he's.
But also like it's a good representation, kind of like you're fine in your own like lifestyle, but then like somebody from a different lifestyle comes in and like is like kind of judgy, passive aggressively, but like they don't push it. But that's a very family thing to do.
It is a very family thing. I think another moment I've seen a lot of reactions to online is Jessica reacting to "I used to change your diapers." That's another from Aunt Kimmy. I think that's another pretty good moment in the beginning of this episode. Episode like is really really hard, good, and really at you really right away. Jessica is really good here, a lot of her, and then we have the thing about Rhonda needs to stop. I think that's good too.
That was such a good line.
What else we got?
Uncle shows Crab how to hit Crab with a mallet.
Yeah,
I am very confused.
That's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing.
You've seen it, Dylan.
I'm not the person to ask about eating crabs. I don't need that, but yeah, it's sure, that's a thing. You can crack open crabs with a mallet. Yeah,
never seen that.
Okay, I guess you're missing out. I don't know.
I guess.
They're playing Uno. That my family also plays.
Yes, I love Uno. My sister used to play it on the plane all the time.
On the plane?
Yeah, because long.
How do you do that? Doesn't it fall?
No, you put the trays out and you do it on one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like my family had like family Uno nights. This checks out. And Jessica like accidentally wins with like the stacking. Yeah, that's like an Uno thing too. Yeah, it's such a small thing, but it's like like all these all these things that resonate. I feel like packed in here. Then we also have the Bryson when he gets to the creek, that part of the episode too. Like Craig showing off the creek. Here's my JP, my Kelsey. He's like wall ball in the stump is a funny gag too that goes bouncing around everywhere.
Yeah, and then it's just like hard cut to them outside.
Yeah.
Let's try again.
Yeah, and then we get into this water balloon fight, and am I too hard on Paintball Mike?
No, you're not. I think that the last episode, I feel like episodes you mentioned something about like episodes have been like pretty high quality. I think the only time we've been low on episodes have been when they like in recent times have been when they focused on Paintball Mike. Like he's just kind of a downer, and he reminds me a little bit of. I mean, I know you liked him, Dylan, but like, it reminds me of Jason episodes earlier in the show, where it's like they weren't bad episodes, but the problem is Jason himself is just so hard to sympathize with.
Maybe
that
early
kind of
Jason.
I dislike Paintball Mike more than Jason, because with Jason, you know immediately that like he's not like great at being in charge, even though he really wants to, and that makes him a little more fallible and relatable. But Paintball Mike's just like so annoying, and he doesn't seem to care, and that makes him more frustrating to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's just write Paintball Mike off the show, please. But I feel like we wrote Jason off the show.
Write Ronaldo off. They just won't do it, Dylan.
No. Okay,
Dylan's right. They wrote Jason off.
They did write
Jason
off.
Doesn't exist anymore.
But they like got good at writing Jason. But I agree. Early Jason was like not like kind of like that. But Ronaldo is fantastic. Don't even.
No,
okay.
No. How can you say that?
He's so good.
No.
Okay.
The elders. We said this. At least I've said this like 5 million times since Craig started. The elders are like the good version of Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's the bad version of them.
The elders are a more fleshed out version of Ronaldo. I don't know.
Makes them better.
They're way
Maybe
better.
Technically, but
they don't bother people. They stay in their little cave thing and do their own thing. That's perfect.
Paintball Mike. He's the only one of the only weak points in the show. But also, I feel like it's like this episode we focus on. I don't know, this episode's just like all about Craig's like extended black family, and then we focus in on the most boring white character. I don't know, like those. That being said,
admittedly, like it's in character that he would be the one that's most into a war like fights in terms of water balloons.
Yeah, they had to take someone down, and he was the best target.
Maybe he's a good foil of this. I don't know. But he does have a good line about licorice isn't candy to Bobby, so I'll give him that.
This show has a lot of hot takes about candy, because remember they dissed candy corn too, and I was like, excuse you, the pumpkins are good though, but like, yeah, black licorice is not redeemable at all.
I forgot we discussed that the pumpkins are better than normal candy corn. I agree. Yeah, licorice is candy. Look, let's not judge what's candy and what's not candy. Like you don't have to like it, but it's candy. It's not good candy, but it's
the kind of candy they made in the old times before real candy existed.
Old candy is valid, Michelle. Okay, it's still
and chocolate, like peanut butter candies, mint candies, mostly chocolate.
So don't like Twizzlers come from licorice?
Twizzlers are licorice. Yeah, Twizzlers are good though.
Twizzlers was because they invented strawberry candies.
Yeah, I guess it's like not really. Yeah, black licorice. Like, yeah. The show's very judgy about candy. I don't know. Let's be more inclusive about the candy.
Not about black licorice.
No, let's. If someone likes black licorice, that's valid, Michelle.
Yeah, because they'll eat it. They can eat yours.
Yeah, that's true. That's that thing with food.
That's circle of life.
Yeah. Okay. What we got? Then the Bryson, they hit the weak spot of, and we had this gag of Kelsey's like, more and more, he went to get help. It's too late now, and then Stax like slinks back into the bushes, Homer Simpson style.
Oh my god, the delivery was so funny.
I know. Is this the first time that Stax has been outside the library?
I think so.
Oh my god, and then it wasn't even any help, poor thing.
It was really a poor thing, yeah, but she's so good. Such a random gag, and you could have told me that's from any of the other 3 episodes, it'd make more sense, but it was great. And then at the end, Dwayne like ends up saving Jessica, and he gets his confidence back.
They drew him like so amazing too. He looked like very stoic and buff and like the ultimate dad, and I love that too.
It was great, and Bryson can't wait to visit again. So we're all happy at the end. Let's bring him back. Bring Uncle Darnell and family back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else from Cousin of the Creek?
They're from Trenton, New Jersey representation.
New Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Wow, really not excited about Jersey, huh?
God, take without saying it.
No. I too had family in New Jersey, being from Maryland, so that checks out too. Yeah, it makes okay. Camper on the Run. Yes, this is the Roxy episode, and I just feel like it's notable how dramatic this episode gets, and at one point we have like very Game of Thrones like music playing when she like kidnaps Mortimer. I'm like, I can't believe Craig is doing just like a straight up Game of Thrones type scene. I love it.
You're using that description. That the vibe that I got from was like, oh, this is like mystery now, like two. Like as soon as like we begin like unraveling her Ratzi's lies, I feel like the music got like a bit more on the creepy side. Mm-hmm. So like that was the vibe I was getting. It's like, oh, okay, this is like high, like we gotta discover what's going on wrong.
It's like high tension type of like a movie when it's basically just what happened, except like you take in this hitchhiker or this like stranger, and then it's like they're gonna try to kill you and stuff, and but that ending scene with them, and it makes them glue their hands together. I don't know, I feel like Craig hasn't done something like this. But also just Roxy and the camp counselor. I feel like you got some notable designs and interesting characters. Yes,
the camp counselor's design, I really loved it. And I don't know why, because she just looked like an actual teenage girl. And I loved it so good. She had these big, like, shorts that feel like a very camper kind of thing to do. And her shades, and just, I liked the juxtaposition a lot.
It's very, very, it felt very a little cartoony of a type of character, but it's like, so she stood out in that regard. I feel like she had like the the sunscreen on, if that, or something.
Yeah, do people do that in real life? Do they have the sunscreen on their nose? Okay.
Why though? Are they really afraid of their noses getting that much more touched than the rest of their face?
I don't think it's more effective if you don't rub it in, but yeah, I feel like, okay, that's this is the thing. Also, just sleepaway camp. It's another concept, and like the fear of sleepaway camp. I also was like didn't want to go to sleepaway camp.
I went to Girl Scout camp a lot, and actually, when she was talking about all the activities in these really intense terms, I had this horrible thought, which is probably not a new thought, but do you guys think camp was like a way to make kids prep for like army time? Because like they have to do like all these hikes and they have to like sing songs to kind of boost their morale, where they have to like hang the flag in the really early morning or do some kind of labor activity. And I don't know, I feel like there's some similarities.
I think like Boy Scout and Girl Scout, like back in like the early 1900s, originated from that style of thinking.
Makes sense.
And I think it kind of just carries through to today because tradition. But also, like I think that the reason like these days that parents drop you off into camp is so you won't be watching TV at home. You'll be off your butt and like active and stuff.
Well, also,
so I think that's why like that's continued on, because like parents expect their kids to be run around and like get their exercise instead of staying at home. And I will say that there was one summer that my mom tried to put me in a summer camp, and I was the kid who would just stay in the pavilion playing board games while everybody else was like out on the playground. And I was miserable because obviously like other kids did not really want to be in there playing board games with me. So I felt very alone, and I told my mom that I was not having a good time, and we didn't do it next year because she said it was a waste of money if I was being bad. So yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I was one sleepaway camp. I also was like staying around the cabin or whatever most of the time.
Do you let you do that? They wouldn't let me do that at Girl Scouts. I mean,
your counselors were more like the one in this episode. They were very thorough.
That's kind of like, I don't know, flattering that she's just stop at nothing to hunt Roxy down. Because I do feel like part of this is like maybe it's the exercise thing, but also like the socializing aspect of like being away from home and being forced to kind of be with new people and figure it out. I feel like that. I mean, at least I know my parents were like, you gotta prep for the future, Michelle. You're gonna be out. Like, they weren't that dramatic about it, but they were kind of like, you gotta like get used to being not at home because it's gonna happen one day when you're older.
But like that's what school is already. It's like
after every day, like a camp is weeks on end of figuring stuff out with other people, and you're in this different environment. Yeah. And sometimes it can suck, but sometimes it can be really great. And you don't want to go home because you're like, there are dumb rules there.
Yeah, well, let's see. What if Craig, JP, and Kelsey go to sleepaway camp? That could be a. Yeah. I guess that won't happen. We can't separate from the creek. Isn't creek just a giant the creek just a giant sleepaway camp?
I mean, it's kind of weird that the counselor is close enough to the creek that he can like weird, follow through. So like maybe there is a camp going on, just like a town over in the same forest.
Yeah. I mean, Roxy had like a canoe with a hole in it. She didn't get that far, so that implies the sleepaway camp's not like hours away.
Yeah. I didn't know of any camps in Maryland. I don't know. I guess they checks out.
They're like rural areas of Maryland.
Yeah. So they're in the Laurel-ish area, so I think that's where the show's supposed to be. Yeah, there could be like there around there. Okay, let's go through. Let's go through this. We start this with Kelsey forging her new PVC sword.
Yeah, that's the resolution from that finale episode. Hoorah!
Why are you frustrated? This is great, Jess. New sword.
Well, I'm happy she's the new sword.
Why did you say it like that?
I think that we were hoping there was going to be some significance to it. I don't remember exactly what we said.
If there was any thought that the other side would usher in a new era of continuity with the show, this episode absolutely squashes that, because we had a big change in dynamic in the other side, where Kelsey's sword breaks and it's resolved in 5 seconds in the beginning of a random episode later. So
I think that's fine.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I like Craig the way it is. I was afraid of it actually being more serialized as opposed to every other show, which I want to be more serialized.
Yeah, I know, right? I was gonna say Dylan.
Right, but so I actually like like love the show as it is, so I'm okay with us doing that. It's just like it kind of did tease something different and did not follow through on it. Maybe this isn't the end of maybe the new sword. Maybe there's an episode of Kelsey's like, this new sword's not as good as the old sword, and she's like, maybe we'll do something with it. I don't know. But it is still, it's I'm happy for Kelsey, and it was a good scene here in the beginning. But it's followed by an even better scene. One of my favorite things, I think, this batch is Craig and JP start nonsensically talking about how they want their heads to match shape. And then we get this comic strip style 30-year flash forward. They've fallen out of touch, and then they pass by each other and notice they have the same head. Like, same head. This is so random. I think this is one of the funniest things the show has done. This fake flash. I love how they're like have their cynicism of the fact that they're going to fall out of touch built in already, and they're like excited about it, and that this concept of wanting the same heads and the way they portrayed it. I loved every second of this random part of the episode.
I love JP's rant about like when we get older and we fall out of touch and we see each other on the street, same head. It's so good.
It's so stupid. I love it. Okay, but then we bring Roxy in, and the episode has plot stuff going on, and she escaped from sleepaway camp, and we get 80% of JP's pants are duct tape. That's good. And Craig is suspicious of Roxy right away.
The duct tape stuff in this episode is very disturbing. There's especially a moment where JP has pieces of duct tape hanging from his eyelids. He rips off the tape off of his eye.
Yes.
It gave me a very visceral reaction just thinking about the feeling.
JP would do that though.
I mean, he would, and. He is.
Don't try this at home.
His body is impervious to many things that a normal person would not be able to withstand. But just the idea.
He already jumped in the creek once today. Yeah, so he's impervious. It seems like. We bring in the camp counselor. We talked about her. We get her side of it, and we learn Roxy sent 8 campers to the infirmary with only an ice pop stick, and the Camp Murky Lake Distress song. We get that too, and Craig. So they're supposed to sing that. Here's another thing I saw a lot of traction on social media is they need an excuse to go talk about Roxy behind her back. So they check out Craig's butt rash, and then in the dark in their room, we see JP doesn't have eye whites.
And he mentions it, and it's just such a good gag.
Well, I think that this plus the comic strip joke in the beginning of the episode, it's like they're really like diving into we can just do like meta animation jokes and like we're fine now.
This is a particularly meta animation joke, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Evolution of Craig also has an animation joke at some point, we'll get to. But they you can tell they're confident enough when they can like stick these into a bunch of episodes at a time.
Yeah, I haven't seen this joke before, the no eye whites. It feels like something someone would make because it's such a classic type of way to display people in the dark. But I think it is very successful with JP too, not being the one who doesn't. It fits. I don't know.
I love that he just like knows this about his eyes, and he doesn't care. It's just reality for JP.
This situation has happened before.
This is just what being JP consists of. So it's fine.
This and the weird butterfly ears.
We don't need to talk about those, but yeah. Roxy kidnaps Mortimer and they glue their hands together, and but then we learn she's homesick, and the counselor tries to empathize with her, and she gives her a friendship bracelet, and they go back to camp together. Aww. Yeah. And
she's the counselor is being very cheesy at the end. Yeah. Is like, hey, you wanna like. She makes some kind of like pun, and and the kid is just like, I don't want this bracelet anymore.
Yeah, she's like, that pun was so terrible. I reject your new friendship.
Yeah, that checks out for Roxy. I thought it was sweet, but the best part is after the counselor's like, sorry, your protest didn't save your tree.
Yeah,
them glued together at the stump. I died at that. That was so perfect.
Uh,
And they're still stuck at the end of the episode. It's a classic way to end it. Yeah. But I don't know. I think Camper on the Run's kind of one of the best episodes of the show. It's so solid, start to
I
finish.
mean, they're all the best episodes, so yeah, that checks out. Also, I just feel like whoever Roxy's voice actor is did a really good job. I was just super into how much they emoted this whole episode, and they legit sounded like a kid too. So I was just either someone has a master voice or some kid is just an amazing actor already, and good job for them.
it's the second.
Oh, it is the child. Good job,
Yeah.
child.
Well, we're talking about Roxy, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Roxy.
Yeah. She's a kid actress on Disney.
They're really
Good job,
good.
child. Okay. Yeah, okay, there you go. Anything else on Camper on the Run?
So I want to get your guys' thoughts on pizza rolls. I don't remember liking
had
them
them
very
as a
much,
child.
but
I
okay,
didn't,
yeah.
that didn't hit for me either. Yeah, I don't know. I
They're
like
expensive snacks that parents sometimes don't buy you, but you see on commercials all the time.
what's the pizza bagel? What's that called?
Pizza bagel. That's called
the
a
mini-
pizza bagel.
No, the mini,
bagel bites.
Bagel bites. That's a childhood thing for me. Yeah. So
I
don't know.
never-
Is that not the same thing?
No, pizza rolls are like oh my god, it's in the name. One of them's a bagel, open face bagel, and one of them's a roll, and it's on the inside.
I just think of SNL with the Totinos mostly.
Oh, the
like,
Totinos.
yeah, that's what I think of. I guess Bagel Bites is close enough that hits from childhood too. Craig was so excited about it. He's like, that's what being is. It's all about being a missing home is the pizza rolls. Okay, let's talk Stink Bomb, the highly anticipated return of Ren and the Alliance of Science. Did we know that they're called the Alliance of Science?
I didn't, but I love it. It rhymes. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
They rhyme.
Ren's shot out of cannon here. She has a universal bug spray. It works against alien bugs as well as human bugs. I think that's for a funny concept. We also
Multifaceted, yeah.
Yeah, we have Carl and Faraday are the other ones too, which I didn't remember their names, so I'm glad we said that. But Ren, very eager to. This is they may have came back in like a minor capacity. I feel like
Yeah, I feel like you're in the
since
background
Doorway
of
to
the
Helen.
episode.
But definitely the most highly anticipated return of side characters, I think, at this point in the show.
No, I mean compared to Stax and
Sewer
But
Queen.
Stax has been back. Sewer Queen's been back. I mean, people that
Has
really
she
haven't had not really. That's
sort
true.
of,
But
but not
the
really.
people that haven't had a second episode is, you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
I definitely think it's Ren. And I mean, there's a few the witches that we haven't seen in a while, but they had a second episode. Who else is gay? They're like, this JP's sister's girlfriend. Yeah, that would be highly anticipated. Okay, so but Ren, I feel like Ren. This is a big return of Ren, and it's like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't in terms of like good quality of episode live up to the first one, but it focuses so much on them. I think it's like a solid second appearance for.
Yeah, and
for Ren
I'll say what I connect to is Ren, like the whole idea of Ren being very into her science, and when things go wrong, her friends abandon her because and she like takes it personally. It's like, oh, maybe it's just my personality that's like very like inquisitive and I like kind of loud. Maybe that's why my friends didn't really stick up for me, you know. And like that, it felt very, very, very personal and like sad, and so like I felt that. And then like when they get together again with like Faraday, kind of apologizing and explaining what's going on, and they end up teaming up at the end. So it's a classic friend. Like group of friends story going on. It's not too complicated, but I felt the dips and the rises, and it worked. The clashes of personalities, I think, worked a lot for me.
Yeah, I think the pathos of Ren and what she's going through with their friends. I think that's very well presented by the episode, and getting in this character who's just very. Loud and zany and keep driving into the emotions behind her. I think that's a good decision.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of puts her in a good position to be one of our more well-rounded side characters, I think, moving forward.
Ren gives me Entrapped a vibe, so I love her a lot.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, she's definitely
Science girl.
of this
That
show.
explains so much.
Because she's
Yeah.
like more invested in science than a lot of other things, but also it causes her to like kind of have rough patches with friends. So makes
Ren
sense. Checks
is
out.
more socially and emotionally well-adjusted in Trapta, unfortunately.
That is true.
Yeah.
And Trapta needed an alliance of science growing up, and she wouldn't be in the position she's in, I think.
Yeah.
That she just
Yeah.
had robots and tiny food.
Yeah, robots, not a good tiny. The tiny food. There's okay. Ren is this bug spray, and it turns into a stink bomb. And I love this sequence of, like I said, even though it's maybe my least favorite of the four, I think this episode's really good. Like that, this sequence of the stink permeating throughout the creek. And seeing different people react to it, I love the timekeeper like trying to trombone the smell away.
Yeah.
And then I also love the elders not being phased by the stink bomb going off too. I thought that was like so good, that sequence. And then we see after everyone's out, Warp Speed and the purple haired tea timer. Honestly, don't know her name.
I don't know her name either.
They name drop the other two, but George and Eliza. But I like her. She's cool, but I also wouldn't have been able to name Warp Speed.
I want to say Nicole.
No, Nicole's Craig's mom. But
no. Okay, never mind. Damn it.
Very different character.
Someone look this up as we're good. But will Craig Wiki have purple hair tea timer? Then yeah, Craig
Maybe
is
that's
on
her real name, Purple Hair Tea Timer.
Maybe that is her name. Craig is she has cool hair. You know, that's a bold move, doing the purple hair at a young age. I like it. Is that her natural hair color? I assume not.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Is
Oh, it
Eliza's
is.
hair naturally pink?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
They're all kind of just
That's how they
anime
started the tea
fantastical.
club. Like, you got weird hair, me too. Let's have tea together under the tree now.
And then George is also there.
He's
But George is. I want to get to George. He's fantastic in this episode. His face when the stink bomb, like him in the stink bomb, is like his expression is so funny. Yeah. And then also just like everyone's like hating on George. Great. Craig's on this rescue mission to everyone that was left behind, and we learned Ren wanted to just appease the Alliance of Science by making something practical. Big episode for Cannonball. Cannonball.
Yes.
I see my mom and dad, and later he's like, "You ain't my parents," right? Like, yeah, it was. He can't maybe Cannonball's second biggest episode behind his what that race episode where he's introduced.
Jeff Trammell finally got some meaningful lines.
Yeah. I thought it was very funny here. Yeah, we got Handlebar here. She's gonna jump it, and then she crashes. And then we find Eliza and George, and Kelsey has to take him out, and they're just being really annoying. So. That's good. There's this fragrance grenade which doesn't work. Oh yeah, from the perfume from that one kid whose mom lets her wear
Real makeup.
Yeah, I think that's funny. And then we learn Faraday sabotaged Ren's bug spray, and
I knew that was gonna happen because Ren was so like, but I tested it and it was fine. I can't believe this happened. But I assumed that the dude had done it, so I was real surprised that it was the girl. But yeah.
Yeah, but Faraday, it wasn't malicious, though. You know, she was trying to help or something, right?
That's true. She wasn't trying to sabotage her.
Yeah, and Ren wants to neutralize the smell, and she was right, and then she reconciles with Faraday at the end of the episode.
So, why does Kit have baking soda? Like, what would you sell that to Creek kids
No.
for?
They mentioned it because, like, remember the beginning? JP gets a sandwich, and it's because it took away the order. So
that's what keeps the sandwiches fresh.
Or at least like not smell bad if they're old.
Oh,
so they seeded it, so it was a payoff.
They seeded. Wow,
Yeah,
Chekhov's baking soda. Wow, yeah. It's good. That's impressive. I didn't notice that either.
Yeah.
Also, a gag I didn't mention is Mortimer, like this fantasy sequence with Eliza. Mortimer's like head,
That
like,
was
swiveling
horrifying.
back on itself. Yeah, it was
It was
great.
so scary.
I think I didn't mention Mortimer like shrugging earlier too, or maybe that's the next episode. I think that was a lot of Mortimer gags here. This is a solid episode. Very excited to see more of Ren and the Alliance of Science. Is anyone getting romance vibes from Ren and Faraday at the end of the episode?
Maybe. I don't know.
You could, but I don't. I just there's not enough of them.
Okay, we'll see more. Yeah, I mean they're kids, but yeah, it's I don't know. I'm just saying, we'll look out for that.
The OTP is clearly JP and Maney, though. They were hard.
Well, we'll get to that. That's an evolution of Craig. Yeah. The OTP is also okay. I haven't done my OTP rankings.
The OTP is Bobby and Candy.
Oh my God, you're right. OTP.
No, he's not right. Don't say that. No, don't say that.
You can eat licorice, black licorice. If that's not OTP,
Bobby and black
OTP
licorice,
I don't know what it is.
Which is Candy.
Well, no, actually, the OTP is Bobby and Craig because Bobby jumps in front of Craig and is like, "I'll be your human shield," and everything.
I don't think that's a true pairing because I don't think Craig really cares that much about Bobby, which is sad. But Candy will always be there for Bobby, so that's why that's the OTP.
Is that a Catra and Scorpia situation with Craig and Bobby?
It is. It is a Catra situation.
Okay. No, we're forgetting Kelsey and Wildernessa is the OTP.
That's true. That's amazing.
Wildernessa hasn't had an episode.
No, she needs to be back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about my fave, the evolution of Craig. We've waited long enough here. The Pokemon episode that I never knew I needed from Craig of the Creek. It's framed around Craig and his grandpa, and Craig basically being worried about the upcoming 5th grade. We actually do have a sense of time with the show. It has been summer, and we knew that, and so Craig's heading into that's something that kind of impresses me is the very slow, subtle progression of time in Craig of the Creek. Because usually these shows just stay in the same place and don't try to keep track of that at all. But it allows you to do stuff like Craig, worrying about going to 5th grade, and I love seeing Craig's grandpa back here and their bond throughout this episode. And they find a tadpole, and Craig's he throws this thing he got from a vending machine at the tadpole. Pokeball style. Oh, I thought that would work, like in that show.
I know.
And at first you're like, oh, that'll be it. No! The whole
whole thing.
Pokemon
I felt the same, Dylan. I was like, oh, that was a fun throwaway gag.
Yeah.
But no, that's the entire thesis of the episode is Pokemon.
I said, oh no, we're starting this early.
How dare you.
Alex, it's fun.
Yeah,
you know what was fun? Seeing JP as a car. That was fun.
That was actually pretty great.
So before that, they get the first of this pixel style video game graphic on the screen, which permeates throughout the episode. And that was surprising too. It's not they say like in that show, but really this episode's a lot in reference to the Pokemon video games.
Exactly.
And, which is it's a lot deeper than the show always goes deeper with reference. There's that one episode where they went into frame rates and stuff and fighting video games. Show goes deeper than you'd expect into specific areas.
They did that Magic the Gathering episode.
They did the Magic episode too.
And the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Yeah, they also did. Oh man,
they did a lot.
I forgot about all this. I'm gonna go rewatch.
Here you go.
Yeah. I haven't really went back and watched Craig. I think Craig would play really well in the rewatch too. Just go back.
Sure. It seems like a very cozy show. You know, when you want something to wind down, it seems good for that. But also, the show's for nerds.
It is for nerds, and that's why I like
everyone, including nerds.
Yeah, we're nerds. The show does not leave out nerds.
Yeah.
The whole show's about LARPing, so it is inherently, I feel like, for nerds. The whole Creek stuff. We get this. You do this kind of random segment with JP and Maney. They're playing. What's faster, nature or nitro? And we get truck JP and horse Maney, and then they start flirting and they don't go over the finish line, and they're like, we need to make them wear blinders.
Oh my god, that's a good line from Kelsey.
Maney JP, truly the most permeating romance of Craig of the Creek. Always on the show. Will we culminate JP and Maney at some point?
I don't think they need to culminate.
What does culminate mean in this context?
Merge into one being, a half car, half horse.
They go on a cute kid date somewhere.
That was the date.
Yeah, they were dating.
I guess this is their version of a date. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
but that's not they didn't set it up. Maybe they did. I don't know. But
we just weren't there for it.
May need to ask JP out, and then we have a whole episode surrounding that.
I guess we do. It's played out, but we eventually are gonna get an episode where there's like, oh, there's Eliza's organizing a dance in the center of the creek.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Sure,
gonna have to do that.
But
No,
then I
I'm
want
so
them to
in.
keep their role playing so that Manny is like a
Yeah.
horse girl at a dance and JP's a truck boy at a dance, and so they're still making like horse truck noises,
That'd be
knocking
funny,
into each
yeah.
other while everyone's dancing normally.
And then Kit can dance with Craig because
Yeah,
that's a ship that Alex hates.
I
and that's
don't ship it, but that might
Or maybe
happen.
Michelle hated it. Someone hated it, and
I don't
it's-
hate it, but like
Someone
whatever.
hates that shit. That's great. And then cardboard couple can come back. The true OTP
No,
of
oh
the show.
my God, Dylan! He's not he's a monster child. How dare you? Don't you dare ship them.
I've consistently shipped them from 40 episodes
You
ago
guys,
until now.
she rejected him, and that's when he went crazy.
Look, it's not healthy, but
No.
I can't help friendship.
Dylan, no.
When's the cardboard sequel? I'm
No.
Come
I
on.
literally have no
I
idea
hope
what
they
you guys are
destroy
talking
that
about.
character.
You don't remember the cardboard
Just
episode?
despite
Oh,
your
no.
horrible mind for wanting to ship them now.
I'm sorry. I felt the tension. I can't help it.
No,
I think
tension of evil, tension of cardboard murder. Not good tension.
we gotta have cardboard revisit. It's the most controversial episode of Craig of the Creek. I mean, which we're still talking about. Okay. Well, let's go back to the Pokemon.
Literally what?
Yeah, Pokemon. Let's go.
How dare you forget this episode? No, it's not that important. But we got so this episode uses Pokemon evolution to symbolize a next chapter in life, and so this is not inherently the most original concept. However, I think I frequently think this about Craig. Like I remember talking the Parmesan gag of "Tell me when to stop." I'm like, I've seen this before, but it does it so well. Like I think this is another example. Craig, it's not necessarily it does have original concepts, but it's not afraid to do things that have been done before. But it just executes them so intricately and incredibly, and I think that's how I felt about the use of Pokemon evolution here and centering it thematically around that. And the tadpole evolves into tadpole with legs, and he learns leggy kick.
Leggy kick, so cute.
Like the evolution, the learning the move that you said he's a water and a kicking type, having types. Like there's a lot going on here, and then we get. Who's that creep kid?
Oh my God.
It's Bobby.
It's
Bobby, you
in
see
middle
the
of
pieces of
episode.
candy flying in the air as part of the profile reveal also?
I can't believe they did Who's That Pokemon. It's so good. I love it.
It's so funny.
Yeah, they do both the show and the video game references. They're all great. Also, another random thing. I love the random stuff in this episode too. We get Bat Kelsey, who's using sonar. Bat Kelsey is I think the most adorable thing. And Mortimer. Oh, this is the Mortimer shrug in this episode, but I don't know. It's this episode cuts to JP and Kelsey, and I think really successfully. There's a lot of Craig-centric episodes. Maybe I think this episode does random stuff with JP and Kelsey better than I've seen in the past. Love seeing Bat Kelsey. Then we get more with the frogs. Froglet now. He learned Aqua Jet. I think that's a real move. And Craig's. Then we start getting to Craig worrying about being like Bernard when he grows up.
And then you get the evolution of Craig into
Into
Bernard.
Bernard.
It's so funny. They take it from Pokemon and apply it to Craig, and it's just amazing.
And then he's fighting your friends. And,
Yes.
it's so good. Also, Gibson is in Philly getting a cheesesteak. And
Yeah, he calls him, and then
Did you
he's
like
not
that,
there
Alex?
till he dies. He blacks out.
yeah.
I mean, I get the cheesesteaks are good, but are people really traveling up from Maryland to Philly just for the cheesesteak?
Yeah,
It
I think
feels-
that seems like a teenager thing to do. I don't know. I feel like that checks out. It's at least close enough, but it's I like that too. I saw Gibson. I feel like Gibson's been mentioned once before. I don't remember. We need
Bernard mentioned him.
Yeah.
Well, he was in that is he the guy in that episode where they're doing the student council and he's arguing for the bouncy
is he
house?
in the council?
Or the photo booth?
Yeah, I think he's in the council. We need more of the council too. Yeah, the whole Bernard stuff was so good, and then the fight sequence there, and then we get the second Who's That Creek kid? It's that one kid, Todd from the 10 Speeds. You remember him, right?
It's just like the dude and lady voices feel so Pokemon-y. It's just having that amazing dialogue come out of their mouths is just like,
and like
it lands
in
so
sync.
well. It lands so well.
I died at this one.
Yeah, I died too. I like lost it. I was like, this is the moment I was like, this episode is unreal. I cannot believe
I know, right?
how good this is.
It's really like every single thing in this episode is good. I don't know. Is that really digging into the Pokemon? Then we keep doing it. Then Froglet evolves into a frog, and then Craig throws the graphic off screen.
Yes.
Yeah. That was really fun too. And they're afraid of growing up, and he needs to release the frog into the creek, and then he's like, the frog is fighting the bird, and we get that Craig starts voicing the frog too at the end. That was like that was crazy and fun too. And then at the end of the episode, he's like, 5th grade. I wonder what that's gonna be like. That's like such a perfect ending to this episode. I don't know, like, as Pokemon stan, this was very, very appealing episode, and, I'm glad that the show can dig into, stuff like this so much, and yeah, it has done a lot of stuff like this, and I really appreciated it. I want to give out my Pokemon Go friend code here, because it worked like at the end of the Craig podcast. I think this would be fun. So if you want to add me on Pokemon Go, 9698-5203-8387. I just turned level 35, so yeah, I'm appreciating the.
Is
Are you
this
like
what shilling
flexing
is?
your Go status is level 35?
I'm not. That's not that good. People are like level 40. They're not that good yet. But it's. I want to friend me on Pokemon Go. Okay?
All right then.
Help me complete your new Jirachi task of the friending people. Okay. So I feel like in my head I was going to work that in better to the conversation.
Wow.
What else?
Are
Alex,
there any tadpoles that you get to catch in that game?
Well, there's some free. Like, you got to be frog Pokemon, yeah.
I can't believe they have a sheepy Pokemon named Woolly. That's the cutest thing I found out this week.
Michelle. Yeah, we told Michelle about Wooloo recently.
I thought that Dylan made that name up, and I was like, "That's such a great name for sheep." And then they're like, "That's a Pokemon, Michelle." I was like, "Oh, that's great too." It's a good name.
Go find our Detective Pikachu podcast.
Yeah, our Detective Pikachu podcast. Yeah,
we talk about Pokemon there. Ludicolo is cool. I remember liking him.
Okay, you named the Pokemon. That's good.
I named the Pokemon. Yes, but I reached your standards of knowledge.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, well, Pikachu. It's not When's Craig going to do a Detective Pikachu parody episode?
Oh my god, give it till season 5 at least.
Yeah, they have to do some production.
I mean, the Rotzi episode is kind of a detective episode.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, that's the closest, I guess, of that aesthetic. Yeah,
it goes black and white at one point.
When I need to rewatch. Okay,
when like the counselor shows up and confronts Rotzi, like it just switches to black and white. And, like,
for it to be like a film noir, they needed Venetian blinds and high contrast. So we'll see. They could lean into that a lot more.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Michelle, any closing thoughts on any of the episodes?
I love them all. Such a good show. I don't know. I'm just so glad that, and this isn't unique to Craig, but just they seem so careful and thoughtful about subverting things. Like when the character says the kid who's trying to escape the stink bomb, and he says like, "Dad, what's for dinner?" Like, he could have said "Mom," but he said "Dad," and it's just like a nice normalization of like, yeah, all parents can cook food for their children. It's not even a big deal. Like, you wouldn't really think about that, but I feel like there's so much subtle stuff like that going on that it's just like so good. Hooray for subversions.
Yay. I don't even remember that when that was from, but yeah, it's so normal in Craig. Yeah, nice. Hooray for subversions. Alex, what are your closing thoughts?
I'm always happy to see when they pull back old characters that we haven't seen in a while. So that's why Ren was a delight. Being able to pull out stacks for like a 1 second gag and like it being pretty good is kind of just like a signifier of like how deep this cast is that you could just like pull them out of nowhere for like 5 seconds and it's fine, and you've got like a lot left over. And I appreciate the fourth walliness of the show, the meta-ness. It's kind of a reminiscent of OKKO in that sense, that I was like appreciate when they like decide to go outside their universe. Just Craig of the Creek is still chugging along, being a very comfy show to watch, a very wholesome show, and it was good to jump back into this because it had been a while.
Although it's been it's been at least every month, I think, so far this summer. So
maybe there's so much stuff that being watched that like it felt like a while.
Yeah, I'm interested how. If that was just a summer thing, it's felt like it's aired more frequently than before. We'll see when we get the next episodes. I don't think we have a sign yet for the next batch of Craig here. As we, I don't remember if we got officially confirmed season 3 before last podcast or not. But yeah, that's going on, and we're in season 2 probably here. Yeah, it's Wikipedia as still as season 1. That's annoying.
It's season 2. I don't. We might be like halfway through. I should go back and look, but we got a bunch left still. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, These are 56 episodes now, so that's a lot. That's a lot of Craig. We've come a long way with the show. Hopefully, still more to come. Hopefully, the show can continue on, unlike OKKO. I don't know.
Craig has been doing really good ratings wise. I know that.
Yeah, I also thought
so I'm not worried about Craig.
Though, so I don't really understand, but
also OKKO is in its 3rd season. Craig is still in its 2nd, and it's got the 3rd. We don't know beyond that. So
hopefully not everything will go the way of Netflix 2 seasons, and Cartoon Network won't go beyond 3 seasons like Disney does. And hopefully that's not happening, but we'll see.
I mean,
that's a downer note
that was sad.
to leave on. Yeah.
Well, look, if we extrapolate in the future, 3 seasons of Craig of the Creek, that's like a very big library of just like anytime that you want like a pick me up, you can just dip into wherever you feel like it. You got like 90 episodes to pick from. Like that would be, at the end of the day, a positive on the world.
Yeah, that's a positive on the world. Yeah, no, that is a lot of episodes. So Craig, at the very least, getting 3 seasons, fantastic. And we're looking forward to see what the show will bring next. Let us know you thought of these 4 episodes of Craig at overlyanimated.com, on YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated, or on our Craig channel, and our Discord at discord.com or overlyanimated.com/Discord for the invite link. Check out other podcasts we got going on right now, including the discussed OKKO podcast that's going on. We had a 12 Forever podcast go up recently. Feels similar-ish demo to Craig. She-Ra was discussed a lot. We're finishing up our She-Ra season 3 podcast. Also continued coverage of Young Justice Outsiders, Fruits Basket, and some other stuff. Final Space. Oh yeah, that's true.
Infinity Train.
Space. We finished that.
But yeah.
I'm just saying, like, all Cartoon Network shows have been, like, heavy recently.
Not Meow Meow. When are we going to talk about Meow Meow?
Do you watch Meow Meow?
That was funny. Yeah, I have to. And it's a good show.
So you wouldn't watch it on your own volition, but you have to.
No, I mean, there's just a lot of shows right now, but Meow Meow's, it's legitimately really funny.
Yeah. If the question is why haven't we podcast on Meow Meow, it's like there's a lot of things.
We just have a lot of things.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Victor and Valentina's out there.
That's another thing. That's on my to catch up list. Amphibia's on my speaking of frogs, catch up list.
We need to get back to Amphibia, please.
Hey, I'm here. I'm waiting for everyone.
Well, we need more than 2 people, Alex.
Okay, fine.
Wait, just
you
be the
do
two
it
of us.
then,
What did
Michelle.
you think? What did you think? Like back and forth the whole
Steve-
I mean,
time.
some podcasts are
Steve
two
is always
people.
around.
Steve Foster.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Michelle, you just reunite the KO crew and catch up. Yeah.
Oh, that could be our new show. That's true. Oh man, but Steve would ship like everything in the show.
All I know is I care about Sprig and Ann as my OT.
Yes, Briganne! We have see. That's what we need you on, though,
I know.
Dylan.
I need to catch up. It's
The
on
new
it's on my
Starco.
list of things to catch up. The new Starco. It's true. The new Frog Starco. Yeah, it's happening. Okay. What's the Starco of this show? JP and Mania.
This
right?
is a terrible evolution of this
okay.
podcast.
Thank you. Thanks.
Please stop
That's
that.
it. Thanks. Thanks, listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.